Welcome to my views and news, another video for you. Firstly, we'll have a look at Zalambessa Adigrat front. Around 3 to 4 days ago, pro-government sources and activists claim that Adigrat had come under ENDF and EDF control. We reported that as well. Since then, we have been waiting for some visual confirmation from Adigrat or from near Adigrat. So, where is Frontline on this front? What about Zalambessa? And is Adigrat front linked to Adwa in terms of fighting in Adwa? That since there is fighting in Adwa, that is why ENDF, EDF could not swiftly move towards Adigrat. Some details for you. And secondly, about Somali region of Ethiopia, where a female member of parliament was killed on Tuesday inside Jigjiga Airport. After that, people took to the streets, opposition parties issued statements, and Somali regional forces used force on Wednesday against protesters, and now curfew-like situation is being reported in Jigjiga and in other cities of the Somali region. Firstly, was Adigrat around 3 days ago. Ethiopian federal government, pro-government activists, news sources, they claim that Adigrat had come under ENDF and EDF control. And main push towards Adigrat was from Eritrea. Since then, we have been waiting for some visual confirmation about the presence of Eritrean soldiers or Ethiopian National Defense Force soldiers in Adigrat, and so far we have not received anything. No visual confirmation so far. Around 24 hours ago, Tigray TV showed a documentary from Adigrat showing civilians, residents of Adigrat, but that documentary, we don't know when it was recorded. It wasn't live coverage. So Tigray has not formally rejected the ENDF supporters' claim that Adigrat has come under ENDF, Amhara, EDF control. But since today some reports were shared about fighting near Zalambessa, which means that Adigrat is not under ENDF, EDF control. If Adigrat is under ENDF, EDF control, there cannot be any fighting in Zalambessa, because main push towards Adigrat was from Zalambessa, through Zalambessa towards Adigrat. It's not that from Adwa, ENDF, EDF reached Adigrat. No, they captured Salaleka, Vikro, Aksom, then Adwa, and we could not confirm their advance up to Adigrat from Adwa. They were caught in Adwa because in the previous video I reported that Tigray fighters attacked Eritrean army and Ethiopian forces as well in Adwa around 24 hours ago. So EDF and ENDF, they're trying to consolidate their control of Adwa. That is why they could not rapidly move towards Adigrat. But from Zalambessa, they tried to reach Adigrat since now fresh fighting is being reported near Zalambessa. It means Adigrat is not under ENDF, EDF control. And that is why Mekelle is under Tigray control, because Adigrat has not come under ENDF, EDF control. That is what seems to be the case now. If Adigrat fell, it would lead to tremendous pressure upon Mekelle. And obviously, Agula, Vakro between Mekelle and Adigrat are also not under ENDF, EDF control. Both are under TDF control. So, Central Tigray, Mekelle, Adigrat, Mekelle Road, and some areas to the east of Mekelle are still under the control of Tigray Defense Force. So it's not that in 24 hours or 48 hours, ENDF and EDF are about to take control of all towns and cities of Tigray. Yes, this rapidly moved along B30 highway, but I think near Adwa, their advance has been slowed down. They are caught in Adwa because from central Tigray, Tigray forces, Tigray fighters are carrying out attacks on Adwa. Secondly, towards the Somali region of Ethiopia, where a female member of parliament was killed on a Tuesday. Javeria Subsis was inside Jigjiga Airport, where an Ethiopian federal police official opened fire, and Javeria Subsis died on the spot. After that, we saw statements from Ogaden National Liberation Front, ONLF, Congress for Somali Cause. Both are opposition parties in the Somali region. Both condemned the killing, the death of Javeria. Then started protests in the Somali region. People took the streets in Jigjiga, Somali region's capital. We have a clip for you showing people chanting slogans against the government, against Mustafa Umar as well. Somali regional forces tried to disperse the demonstrations. They used force. They fired live ammunition. They fired tear gas as well. Protests were dispersed, reportedly. But it led to clashes between protesters and government forces. And now, reportedly, a curfew-like situation is being reported in Jigjiga, in other main towns of the Somali region. So unrest is spreading. Opposition parties are fueling this unrest because for months they have been trying to start a street movement against Mustafa Umar's government. Congress for Somali Cause, ONLF, and other opposition groups, they have been trying to unite and launch a movement against Mustafa Umar's government. Some disgruntled Prosperity Party members also joined them. But they could not launch any street movement because Mustafa Umar's government launched a crackdown against protesters a few months ago. Now, when people are angry at the death of Javeria Subsis, opposition parties are exploiting the situation and they are backing protests in the Somali region. The protests are turning into anti-government protests. And that is why Mustafa Umar's government is using force. Government has not officially announced imposition of curfew, but reportedly large number of security forces is patrolling the streets of Jigjiga. No protests are allowed. Protests have been disrupted, but protesters want to continue their demonstrations. So overall, situation is tense in Jigjiga and in other parts of the Somali region. Main leaders of opposition parties, especially CSC, Congress for Somali Cause, are abroad. ONLF leadership is in the Somali region, but it does not become involved in street protests against Mustafa Umar's government. ONLF keeps on issuing statements mostly, but this time opposition parties are exploiting the situation and they are backing demonstration. People are angry as well and they are accusing Mustafa Umar's government, Mustafa Umar himself, that he is behind the death of Javeria Subsis. but obviously no evidence that Jiveria Subsis was killed by Mustafa Omar or by Somali region government. We have a clip for you showing the demonstrations which were held in Jigjiga on Wednesday. Watch the clip. Thank you for watching.